this stage, everybody's so split with Roman's championship run. It's like you either really enjoyed or you just really don't at this point. But I want to touch on the repetitive statements of Roman's matches because a lot of people have issues with, the bloodline always interfering in his matches and helping him win time and time again. And I don't understand if people just don't like the interference or they just don't understand it or what it is, because that's literally part of Roman's character. I know that's also a repetitive statement. You heard people say it time and time again, but that just is what it is. It's part of his gimmick. People have said, well, just because he's a bad guy, he doesn't have to cheat all the time to win. But at this stage in his championship run, he's basically fighting for survival. That's the reason he's been champion this long to begin with, was because of the bloodline has been structured around him to protect him as the champion. In the beginning stages of his run, he would win some matches clean from time to time, but that was to establish dominance during the run. And then the last time he won clean was against Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble, but that was, to set up for the Sami Zayn turn. It all plays into the storyline. At this stage now, Roman is fighting for survival to be champion because realistically, from a storyline perspective, he should have never even been champion this long because there have been a lot of high-profile matches with big moments against, superstars that were really over that were gonna beat Roman, but because of the bloodline, he was able to survive and fight another day as champion. Why should Roman win clean in this stage of his run when he's fighting for survival in every big high-profile match? He'll never win another match clean. As long as he's champion, the bloodline will always be there to protect him as long as the bloodline is structured around him, which is going to make the moment feel a lot bigger when he finally loses for the people who've been waiting for Roman's downfall and been waiting for him to lose, and they're so tired of the championship run. When he finally loses that belt, you're going to be the happiest people on earth. You're going to feel so much relief, like, oh my gosh, finally caught up with him, because he's not going to win forever. But he's fighting for survival every single time he steps in that ring now at this point, because the reign has gone on so long, it can't go on forever. So he's trying to make it extend as long as he possibly can to stay at the head of the table, which has literally been his entire gimmick from the beginning of his run as champion. He said it in multiple promos: the WWE needs me as champion, you need me as champion, I put food on everybody's table. Paul Heyman's even said it in promos: without the title, there is no Roman Reigns, which honestly could say once Roman loses the title, he may be done for real. Because what more could he possibly do? He's already reached the highest of highs. How much higher could he possibly go at this stage in his career? We honestly never really seen a champion like Roman before, because his character literally revolves around being the champion, which makes him the head of the table, the tribal chief. And once he loses that, what else does he have? Once he loses it, what else does he have? But literally, all the details for the story are right there. I just don't understand what people are seeing or, not seeing at this point. Like, I get if you don't like Roman Reigns, that's fine. Not everybody's going to like every superstar. That's completely cool. But Roman is never going to win clean by himself anymore. And he shouldn't win that way. He should never beat anybody clean by himself. That proves nothing. That does nothing for him. That doesn't do anything for him at this stage. To beat somebody clean who's so over is just going to make people even more mad, if you ask me. Because if he'd have beat LA Knight or Drew McIntyre or Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania by himself, people still would have been upset and mad that he beat those guys by himself. But because he had help to do it, it tells you that these superstars should have beat him in the story, but they didn't, because the bloodline was there to protect Roman, to make sure that he stayed at the top. Roman is the ultimate villain. He's showing everybody that, the good guys can't always win. You can't always have the happy ending in the stories that you always get in wrestling or in movies or whatever. You don't always get the happy ending with Roman Reigns. That's what makes him such the ultimate villain, because every single time you think it's over for him, he finds a way to survive and continue to win. Most of these people, I think, are, saying they want Roman to win a match by himself and everything. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? And most of these people saying this, I feel like, would still be upset even if he had won some of these matches by himself. Especially the big high-profile ones like Drew McIntyre, Clash of the Castle, Sami Zayn in Montreal, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania, LA Knight at Crown Jewel. All these guys who are super over with the fans at the time. If Roman Reigns had beat any of those guys by himself with no help, especially like Drew in the UK, or Sami in Montreal, Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania, if he had beat any of those guys clean by himself, people still would have been upset and they would still have been mad. Because Roman wasn't going to lose, because if he was going to lose, he would have already lost. But he was going to win either way. So how do you win to try to protect these superstars as well in the story to, progress everything further? Because from a storyline perspective, Drew McIntyre would have beat Roman Reigns by himself. But Roman Reigns had a trick up his sleeve and, had somebody else in the bloodline looking out for him, which is why Drew McIntyre lost. Sami Zayn, probably could have beat Roman Reigns by himself, but the bloodline was there. Cody Rhodes would have beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but the bloodline was there. LA Knight could have beat Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, but the bloodline was there. It's the whole concept. The bloodline has been structured to protect Roman in the spot that he's in. And there's a reason also Roman doesn't defend the championship as much as he once did in the beginning, because with this story, there's only so many people he can continue to face at this stage. And now Roman has made himself into a special attraction. When he shows up, it's a special thing because he's that type of superstar now. He wasn't that type of superstar, 6 years ago when he was playing the big dog gimmick. That's why he was there every week, because he was still trying to figure out what he could really do to become at the stage that he's at right now. Well, now he's reached a level that people can only dream about. I mean, he's reached a level that, let's be honest, that every superstar should dream that they can get to. And now he's at the stage where he's like, you know what? I know I'm a special attraction. I can show up, here and there on the big stages when they need me to against these big high-profile matches and still produce, a good storyline for TV that needs to be produced. And he's done that. I've said this statement before, and I'll continue to say it. It doesn't matter how many times you defend a championship. What matters is what you can do with the championship when you have it. What can you make the championship mean when you're holding it? Can you make it prestigious? Can you help elevate the championship up to feel important? That's why there have been so many champions throughout WWE's time who, are irrelevant and forgettable because they were just winning the championship just to win the championship. But what kind of stories do they have as the champion to make them appeal and stand out as champions? Most of them didn't have any. Roman Reigns has had that from the beginning. I would much rather have a part-time champion who, has a really good storyline that he's involved in, championship matches that are really good, and to help make the championship, prestige and to help elevate that title up to relevancy, than to have a full-time champion who is there all the time, but he's a champion and there's no appealing storylines with him as a champion. That's boring to me. Like, if you're a champion just to be a champion, that's why, the mid-card titles were so irrelevant for so long, because people would win, like, the US or IC title, but they weren't doing anything with them to make them stand out as a champion, to make it appealing. Like, those titles felt irrelevant for so long until certain people were able to grab onto them and then make the title prestigious again, like, The Miz with the IC title, John Cena with the US Open Challenge. Like, those guys were able to take those championships and make them mean something again. But, like, before that, I mean, how many times did we see people win championships and then they were just, like, forgettable that they were even champion? At this stage, though, Roman Reigns is fighting for survival as champion in every match he's in, which is why the bloodline is going to continue to interfere to make sure that he wins until he finally loses. That's literally what the story is about. Like, I don't see how people just aren't seeing that, or people just hate Roman Reigns so much that they're just so drained out from this run as champion and they're just ready for it to be over and they're tired of everything just being the same, which I get because it's been a long run as champion, but it's literally part of the story. It's not like none of this doesn't make sense. It all adds up and makes sense. Some people just either refuse to see it that way, or I don't know at this point. Like, I honestly don't know.